What did you do to stop using drugs?
I got to a point in my life where I was using drugs daily and found myself using about $1,000 worth of heroin a week, and my life had become unmanageable. Um, just everything in my life was falling apart, and I finally got on my knees and asked God to help me. And what God used was a drug treatment facility to help me. And I went into drug treatment, and I learned about me. I learned why I do what I do. I learned about the disease of addiction. I didn't know it was a disease, and I learned that it was a disease, and like any other disease, it was treated. If you had cancer, you would go get chemo treatment and treat it. And what I learned in a treatment facility is that my addiction is a disease. It's something unique to me, and that I need to treat that disease. So I learned a lot about me. I learned about the disease of addiction, and I learned about preventative things that I can do to keep my disease arrested.
Could people tell that you were using drugs, and did they ever ask you if you were okay?
Early on, I don't think anyone really knew because I was able to hide it well. I was doing a lot of bad things using drugs, but on the outward side of appearances of things, it looked like I was okay. I still had my business. I still kind of operated every day as if everything was okay, and I wasn't. Obviously, I was broken, and my life was just spiraling out of control. But I don't think people knew it early on. People would ask me if I was okay. I think at some point they started sensing that something wasn't right with me, especially my wife, my family, those that were closest to me, and I would just have an auto reply answer of, yeah, everything's fine, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. That I remember that's what I would always say, I'm good. And the reality was I wasn't good. And I said that because I didn't want to deal with the fact of where I was at in life. Didn't want to deal with the fact that I was using drugs on a daily basis and I couldn't even, get through a day without using heroin. So that became my answer, yeah, I'm good. And the reality was I was nowhere near good.
How do you continue to abstain from drug use?
Today my life looks completely different. Sometimes I don't know that guy that years ago was using drugs. God just came into my life, pulled me out of active addiction, and just kind of set my life on a path and gave me some tools to be able to stay clean. First and foremost, I stay in constant contact with Him through prayer, through Bible reading and fellowship, seek His wisdom on how to be like Jesus, how to be a better me. But also, I'm still very active in 12-step recovery program. I go to several meetings a week. I work on 12 steps, and I have a community of other people that are in recovery that I reach out to and I stay in contact with. And we hold each other accountable, and we continue to work on ourselves so that each and every day we can get stronger and stronger and never have to go back using drugs again.
How do drugs alter your mind?
When I was using drugs, it certainly had some effects on my brain, and it just kind of made me numb. I didn't care about life, didn't care about what was going on around me. I think my alertness, my senses were much lower from using heroin. My reactive time to things was not as quick as what it probably is for a normal person. And I still have some of those effects today. Today I still see the effects of me using drugs for a long time in my speech and my thinking, just how I process things. And they're a daily reminder of what my life used to be like and how drugs affect the body and the brain.